What's up, guys? Welcome back to Roadside Shenanigans. Today we're going to be working on the old Cowboy Caddy, fixing some mistakes and learning as we go. So go ahead and watch and we'll get into it. Alright, so been going through it here and been up and running for a couple weeks now, driving it to work here and there, just getting around. It does really good. Carburetor's really liking it. Couple things that I have learned about it, and I will show you. So when I originally done the carburetor, I did find out that the original fuel pump pushes too much pressure for the uh, single stage fuel pressure regulator. I had it mounted up on here, blew the first one out, had to replace it. Replaced it with this one. Well, it's leaking real bad now. As you can see, there's residue all around it and stuff, but it's leaking. Obviously, it's held up with yellow electrical tape. Perfect work there. But got it leaking now, so I said forget it. I'm going to put a new one in it, all new fuel lines, and I called Jegs and talked to one of their specialists, and he told me that these single stages don't hold up to the pressure that the original pressure systems would do, that I needed a dual stage. So I got it and got a couple other things. I'm going to show you them now. So here's the dual stage pressure regulator, if I can focus on it. Mount it up in there on something. I got some bolts here and stuff I'm going to mount it with. Instead of self-tappers, figured I'd do it right. Has the inlet right here where my pinky is. The return is on the bottom, bypass. And the part that goes to the carburetors is you got one here on this side and one on the other side. And then you have your first stage back here in the back. And then your second stage up here, and that might be reversed. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the paperwork. Has two spots. One here, well, there's two. There's one here, and one on the front up there for gauges. Depending on where I mount it, I'll decide on the back which one I want it, and then the front goes right here. Got two gauges there, identical. Got my bolts to mount it with, along with some hex nuts. Got 3/8 plug, because those are all 3/8 MPT threads, except for those. Those are 1/8 or a quarter. I think it's 1/8. Whatever these are. Yeah, it's 1/8 MPT threads. 3/8 fitting for also 3/8 fuel line. I got two of those. There's the other one. Got some tape for it. And we'll go ahead and get to putting these together and get it set up. Alright, so here's the pressure regulator. Went ahead and got it together. This piece will go against the inner fender. And the gauge in the back will be for the high pressure coming in. The gauge on the front will be for the low pressure going out. I've got a 90 on the bottom. That'll be for the return. The one right there, right below the gauge, will be the feed. And then this one up here, right across from my thumb, will be the one that goes to the carb. I'll be able to adjust them from up there, but I'm going to go ahead and get these put on. Get that bracket put onto the truck and get it mounted so I can get it on there and see if I can go ahead and get the fuel lines ran tonight. Alright, so I didn't get a whole lot done last night. It ended up getting dark on me pretty quick, but I did get the fuel pressure regulator together. Ended up getting the bracket mounted here. I'll go ahead and show y'all that. It's right there, but the bolts stick through a little bit on it. So I got to hit those with a grinder real quick, cut them off, and then I'll mount it up there, and I'll end up running the fuel lines down through here and get them from out behind the engine. Once I get all that done, well, hopefully I'll be able to run new lines. Alright, so those have been cut off. Let's go ahead and see if we can get this thing mounted. Enter it here. It should end up sitting on there just like that right there. Alrighty, so she's on there. That'll give us a good point to where we can see the high pressure coming in down here. look up here and see the low pressure coming out. This will be the return. That's the feed. This is from the pump, and this is to the carburetor. The return and the feed, they'll be coming up from down here. I'm going to loop those down around, come underneath here, and go right against that fuel or that frame rail. And they'll run all the way back to the back of the truck where the fuel tank is. This one to the carburetor, I'm going to have it come off, come behind the washer fluid reservoir, come in front of the battery here, down against it, come up around near the radiator, come across, and then probably run it up somewhere through here, or go down through here and run it up somewhere. I'll end up running it up and end up going into the carburetor right here. In line, I'll still have my filter. My one gauge here melted a little bit on me. I'll end up getting rid of it. It'll be now on the regulator showing, so I don't need it anymore. It'll show me what it is, and that's all I need. But I'll end up putting that in line still, and the rest of it will be good. I'm going to go in for the day. It's Sunday. Y'all know I don't work a whole lot on Sundays, so I have to actually work tonight, but this is the Lord's day, and I'm not going to be out here working. Sundays are meant for the Lord, and I'm going to make sure of that, so I'm going to limit the amount of time that I'm allowed to work on the truck, and that's something I just need to get done. We're supposed to be expecting snow tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and get that on there, and the rest can wait until another day. I'm going to go ahead and get back inside and get warmed up. It's a little cold out here. It's supposed to be having a real cold snap and a little bit of snow tonight, so get this cleaned up, and I'll be back out here in a couple days and be getting back at it.
Alright guys, new day here. As you can tell, it snowed, so I was in a hurry to get the fuel lines done there the other day, and didn't end up getting to film. I was in a hurry. Front yard needed cut before the snow fell and everything, so my wife hurried up and done that while I fixed the fuel lines. Didn't have time to record it or anything, but I'll go ahead and show you real quick. So I got the fuel lines reran and everything. Took out the old lines that was behind the engine. Reran them all to up here. You got your feed line, return line back here. This is the line that goes to the carburetor. I got the filter on it. Snakes down, goes down through there, up behind the alternator, hooks in right here. The feed and return go down underneath the heater box. And then I've got my dual stage regulator. On the front, it regulates the lower pressure, which goes, maybe, that might be the high pressure one. I think that's high pressure. It's one of the two. One does 14 psi, the other one does 7. I split it in half. That allows it to step down. I think this is the high one. This goes to 14, this one goes to 7. Because when it comes through there. Yeah. So I got it. I reran the fuel lines all the way back to the back, almost to the fuel tank. Couldn't go onto the fuel tank, couldn't drop it at the time. I had a full tank of gas and I wasn't about to fight that. So I ended up tying into the previous lines within probably 6 inches of the fuel tank and made that work. Once I tied into those, it was fairly easy. Everything was just clamping together and it runs really good now. No fuel leaks, don't even smell like gas now. Before it was pouring right down on top of those exhaust headers, or on top of the exhaust manifold. But I also got some other stuff I got to do to it now. As you can see, I'm getting over here inside of the cab. I'll go ahead and show you what the steering wheel and stuff's doing. So inside the cab here, you can grab the wheel and it's all over the place. Watched a video from Buff's Garage. He worked on his Harvester of Sorrows. It's his big 1 ton pickup. His was doing this, and he talked about how to fix that, going in there and removing the steering wheel and everything. So I've never pulled a steering wheel, never pulled any of that. Don't really mess with it. The only thing I've ever done was I once replaced a steering column on a 65 Ford Fairlane 500. It was my first car. I replaced it, but honestly, I didn't even replace it. My dad done it while I was at work.
So I couldn't even tell you how to do that really. So we're going to get into this and see how to do it and start tearing it down. Two-hand job, so I'm going to try to record, but no guarantees on what I can get.
What's up, guys? I'm sitting here just editing this video, getting it ready to post and everything, as I'm waiting on Big Joe to get here so we can do a little podcast. I'm not good at this, at working on that steering column, and honestly, it didn't turn out great. It got down to the point where you'll see here in just a second that I was down to the pivot pins, and it doesn't just work out for me. Get one of them out, the other one doesn't come out. Tried my best multiple different ways, ended up welding it even to a bolt, tried to pull the bolt out, still wouldn't do it, just kept breaking. I don't know if it was mushroomed on the back from where someone had just hammered it into that steering column so hard it mushroomed it, and it ain't coming out. But with that and the fact that everything was just dry, there was no grease on it, everything's pretty much going to have to be replaced in that steering column. So I decided to go ahead and just get a new steering column, but I'll go ahead and let y'all see what I do have. I'm going to fast forward through a lot of it, as where it's just, there's no point in me showing you how to do it because I'm not good at it. There is other videos though that I mentioned that really give a good detail of how to do it. It's just I'm not the one that should be teaching this. I don't know how to do it. It took me forever to get it, and I still have extra parts. I don't know where to go. They're not extra. They're meant to be in there, but I can't figure out where they go. So with everything said and done, I'm just going to have to buy me a new steering column. So I suggest that y'all go and watch the people that do know how to do it, because I'm not the one to teach because I can't figure it out. With so much going on with it and the problems I'm having, it's just better off if I go ahead and get a new one. So go ahead and watch the other ones, but I do recommend, just because my video, I would recommend going ahead and watching this and seeing the problems I have, because maybe they're problems you'll have too. I don't know. If y'all got any tips, you can let me know. I'm still going to go ahead and get a new steering column, but I would like to know what I done wrong. So let's get back to it.
Did end up watching a video on it. It was Aaron Haynes Auto, done a video about 7 years ago. Done a really detailed video of it, so I'm going to go ahead and give him a shout out there real quick. Alright guys, so here's the pivot pin puller tool. Comes with a nut and some other things on it. Here's your washers and the other pieces. The nut I had, they sent a tiny little nut that goes on this. It's supposed to hold up to the tensions of it, and it doesn't. O'Reilly's for you, which they all carry the same one, I guess, so it's really not just O'Reilly's. But went and bought grade 8 bolts, same size. They're thicker, obviously. Should be able to cover more thread, and they're actually stronger than the little tiny weak one they sent, so hopefully I can get it done now. Here's your pivot pins. There's one there, one right there. I'm going to go ahead and try to get those out, and then I'll be able to pull this out, and that should get me in there. Do have two pieces that I don't know what are. It's that and that. They both fell out when I pulled this cover off. Don't know where they go or what they're from. So I might have to Google that and figure that out, but we'll get there. Alright guys, so I've been sitting here working with this and everything, and like I said, I stripped out that bolt on that pivot pin, or that nut. Well, I went and got a new nut for it and tried it again. And I don't know if it was because of that spring being still in there. From the video I watched, you didn't have to take that out first, but I bet you do. Because that put a lot of tension pushing up. And I think it caused it. That pivot pin right here, I broke that pivot pin puller off on it. So now I got to drill that out, tap it,
see if I can get it out again, get a new pivot pin puller or a bolt or something. I don't know at this point. Honestly, if I could just get a bolt that would fit that after drilling it out, I mean, I could probably do that, but then I'd have to put it back in. But I'm going to have to get another pivot pin anyways, or pivot pin puller to pull that one now and see if I can get another one even. I want to head back down to the parts store though and see if I can get another and see how soon I can get it. What's up, guys? New day here. Still working on those pivot pins. Been working on them about a week and a half. They're getting really old. I'm getting really tired of them. Tried drilling one of them out. The one that I broke the tool off in, and broke a drill bit off in it. And I'm not drilling it again. So I thought of different ways, tried different ways. None of them really worked. So I'm going to try one more. If it don't work, I'm going to weld something to it. But I've done my way of welding already, so you'll see it here in just a second. Got another pivot pin puller for the other side, and it doesn't work. It doesn't thread into it. So I'm going to have to do the same with it. I'm not going to drill it or anything. I'm not drilling anymore. I can't. I'm tired of it. My arms hurt. My hands hurt. I'm done. I'll do anything I can. If I have to, I'll put it back together and buy a new steering column. I'm not doing this. So this is what I've done. If you look here, I've got the pivot pin puller in it, and I've got a self-tapper back in it. And yeah, that's electrical tape that's wrapped around it because I took some JB Weld, mixed it all together and everything, stuck the pivot pin puller with the tool on it back in there with a bunch of JB Weld back in it, made sure it didn't come down onto the metal piece or else it'd all be stuck together, but got it back in there, and it's 30 degrees outside, 20 at night. It's going to take a while for that to set up. So I put the electrical tape on it to hold it in just in case, because those threads do not match. It does not hold. And then this over here, there was just it went in maybe 1/4 of an inch, if that. But I was able to get the end of the self-tapper in there. So I ran JB Weld all the way up onto the threads of the self-tapper. Shoved it as far back in that hole as I could, sitting there working it back in there, and then stuck the self-tapper into it. Hopefully that all welds together with the JB Weld, and to hold that in, I have electrical tape wrapped around. It's all coming down the tip of there, and then it alternates from side to side of this, along with going across the tip of the tool. I'll come back out tomorrow and I'll check on it and see how it holds up. If it's dried, I'll go ahead and pull it. If not, then we'll come back out Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, something like that, and do it. I'm about to the point where I'm ready to just buy another steering column. Only thing is, steering columns for this thing, some say they're $700 for a remanufactured one, or whatever it's called, where they rebuild it. I don't want to sit there and spend $700 on a steering column that technically worked. I mean, it was really loose. It wouldn't work long. But at the same time, I'd be fine with just putting a straight shaft on it. I really don't care by this point. Make everything into toggle switches, left turn signal, right turn signal, ignition, all that stuff. I don't care by this point. So we'll see what this does and what we can do.
I did manage to get one of these pivot pins out to do so. That didn't fit in it, but there it is. I JB welded this tool into it. JB welded the tool into it. It did come out. The other side did not. So what I'm going to have to do with that is pull the whole steering column and see if I can weld onto that pivot pin and go ahead and see if I can pull it out like that. So now let's go ahead and try pulling this steering column and see if I can get it out. I'll have to get new pivot pins and put in there. If I can't get that out, or if I get it out and everything's still junked, I might have to get a new one of these, meaning this video will be a part 2, because that's going to take a while, because I am broke right now. I'm not able to go and buy a steering column for $700 because Christmas just happened, and I'm not going to try. So we will see.
Guys, so if you've been watching here, I've lost some of the audio, but as you can see here, I was working on the transmission, and as I was getting this pin moved around, I realized there was no cotter pin on the back of this rod, and it explains a lot as to why the transmission was wanting to go in gear or not come out of gear when I was stopping and starting and stuff like that. It wasn't going fully into that gear, for one, because this pin was about to fall out. This rod was about to fall out. So I went and got some Carter pins, and I'll replace it before I put it all back together.
Alright guys, so my mic cut out on me there, so a lot of it y'all missed. I'll do a little voiceover of it and stuff just to kind of show y'all what I'm doing real quick. But to get back into it here, I got that bolt out and the bolts back in there, out one on each side, are the nuts. Here's the bolt that goes through the steering column, and then there is the nuts with the bracket, the lip on the bracket here. It goes up in there just like that, lip on the left side, facing out, away from the firewall. But those are the nuts that go on it, go into that. I'll go ahead and put those back on there by hand, and I think that's everything here. That should be everything there. I'm going to go see if I can pull out that steering column now. Alright, so a few other things. There's a plate back in there, has 4 bolts on it. Got to remove them. There's one little bolt, same size, they're all the same, they're right there. 10 millimeters. Holds a bracket on for the big wire that goes down through there. You'll have to remove it. And then don't forget about this. That is on a spring up in here. That is what controls your gauges. As I take it off here, it just clips on. Well, it just came off for me. There we go. You can sit there and see, just on that spring. We'll let it go back up in there. It should hang just barely down for you. That'll allow you to do that, but that should be it. I think I have one more wire up in there. I can't seem to get to it right now. I'm going to let my hands get some filling in them again. Besides it being cold, I just sat upside down taking that plate loose for the last 10 minutes, and I'm going to sit here for a minute, try to remember what my name is. Alright, so for me, I've had an electric brake for trailers and stuff put in. They ran my wires through my steering column's plate, so to get those out of the way, I just went ahead and cut them. They've been put together before. I'll just put another connection on them. And the white one is the ground, and it goes right here. So I'll just have to make sure I put that back on and all those back together when I'm done. With that being done, I only have the one wire connected. I'm just going to be able to throw that back off over here. Sorry, over there. And get that one piece left that's on there loose, and I should be free. There might be 2 more wires. I'll have to double check. I think there's one right back in there, and then another one down inside there I'll have to get. But I'll look at it all, and then once I'm confident it's free, I'll go ahead and start pulling on it. Alright guys, it's out. I forgot about this cord right here. This one comes up and goes into this little piece right here on it. That bolts to the side somewhere and through there, I don't know. Got all those out, got the cords fed back through. This is free now and out. And there she is. There's a backing plate somewhere for it. I'll figure that out later. It goes on here, but alright, we'll go ahead and get this out of here, and I'll start looking at everything else. If nothing else, I'll send it in and get me another one. There she is out of it. That plate, by the way, just goes right on there. It just has little dog ears on it. Go down into it. But there she is. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Guys, because of this video taking so long, this will probably be the end of this one, because I don't know when I'm going to get back out to weld on that or work on it. And if I do have to buy another steering column, it's going to be probably a month or 2, just because I don't have the time to do it, don't have the money right now. We're looking at other bigger things going on right now, and if those end up coming too, then we might have a couple good size announcements coming, but we'll just see. I mean, if they do, they do. If they don't, then that's God's will, and we'll get it we'll get what we get, and we won't throw a fit. That's what we tell our kids. So there's Cowboy Caddy. She's decorated for Christmas, but she didn't get to see the road much during Christmas. So has the candy canes on her, but hope y'all enjoy yourself. Be safe out there. If you drink, don't drive. Call somebody. I don't drink, but I ain't going to be driving for a while in this thing at least. So y'all have a good one. Keep into your shenanigans.